Welcome to your 7-card draw shadow read for this full moon in Sagittarius, waning to new. In Gemini, I am your reader, Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, professional wit, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons. But you can call me Mal, my Scorpionic friends. Welcome aboard. If you're new to the channel, check out my stuff. Got a lot going on. And very, very happy to be serving you today. Let's get right down to business, shall we? We are doing a 7-card draw. What do I need read? Shadow-based. I'll explain that in a minute when we get there. For a specific timeline, not a timeless read, a general read, not a timeless read. We are looking at a waning moon, starting at the full moon in Sagittarius on Wednesday, May 26th at 7:14 a.m., a little early in the morning, and then waning, right, going from full to new. It's going to shrink, it's going to wane, it's going to releasing, letting go, all that kind of stuff, shadow work and all of that, going to the new moon in Gemini on Thursday, June 10th, 6:53 a.m., right? All times Eastern. I am in New York. And my guides were very clear this time around for this. They're like, everything seems to be going retrograde during this waning moon, particularly Mercury retrograde in Gemini, its own sign, which is usually about a lot of things coming back around to look at, right? And pair that with a waning moon, it can be a little tricky. So that's why we're doing these the way we are. A 7-card draw, 1 card from 7 different decks, 2 tarot decks, 3 oracles, 2 healing systems to get you the clues, tips, and hints you need to know about this for this specific timeline. So here's the deal. All I can ask is that you please remember it is a general read. I will never understand why people thumbs down any YouTube reader when it's not their read. It's like there's no reason to thumbs down. It's either not your reading and you don't like that it's not your reading, which I can understand, you know, or it is your reading and you just don't like what you heard, right? So you thumbs down. And it's a general read, right? So it just doesn't make sense. So whatever. So please keep that in mind. Check your other signs, because if this ain't your read, maybe there's some one of your other signs where you can get some clarity. Other than that, both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace, because these readings already I'm a little blown away by how intense they've been. But it's shadow work, and if you're unfamiliar with shadow work, I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. There's a spiritual way of doing it, there's a psychological way to do it, and so many different ways. I like to speak the language of alchemy, lead to gold in terms of shadow work, but I'm sure my guides will explain that as we go, because maybe they're your guides too. Right, Scorps? Okay. So let's do this. All the decks that I read are always in the bottom of the description box. I'm done explaining. You'll get it. And if you aren't new to my channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Please take a nice deep breath. And let's get off to these races, shall we? Here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters, and the higher selves of all involved for this Scorpio collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign watching this video. Receiving this reading, please. What is the dominant archetype from the Caroline Myss archetype deck that this Scorpio is dealing with in themselves, in another, in a situation, any of that, all of that for this specific timeline of the full moon in Sagittarius, waning to new in Gemini, May into June 2021, and you've got the visionary archetype. I have the visionary archetype, and it sucks. I'm going to tell you that, it sucks. And I'll explain why. I mean, I have a sense of humor about everything, pretty much. I'm 52. Trust, I know I don't look it, thank you. You get that wisdom, and I'm a witch, so it's, thank God I inherited my mother's sense of humor. The shadow and the light. The shadow is where the shadow work is, the light is what you're shooting for. Lead to gold, insulator to conductor, toxic to healthy, lead having 3 more atoms than gold on the periodic table. I had a student of mine who was an earth science teacher who explained that to me. So those 3 extra atoms in the lead have to be let go of, transformed, alchemized is the word I use from spiritual alchemy, to reach the gold. So the shadow side is pretty toxic. Selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. I I can relate to that. I have no planets in Virgo. That's not true. I have Neptune in Virgo, but so does all of the Generation X, pretty much. My generation. I'm talking about my generation. So, you know, a lot of us have done that. A lot of us have had these brilliant visions, but we've had to dumb it down, right, for the peoples, for the children's. But the light attribute kind of sucks for me as well, because I have this lifelong capacity to envision what's not yet conceivable to others, and that sucks. I mean, it's got a great side to it, right? To be able to envision, right? To be able to see what people can't even grok, right? They can't even wrap their minds around. Willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. I mean, I have that fucking boatloads. That's why I'm doing this on YouTube, right? You know, to try and make a living doing the best I can. Oh God, I was born a rambling man. Really, the Allman Brothers. He's spinning Hermes back there, getting ready to turn the turntables retro. Let's keep going. You got this to alchemize. This could be you. This could be somebody else. This could be a situation. Let's ask the angels with the Healing with the Angels Oracle who you need to work with. Which legion of healing angel? Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon my angels and archangels of water in the sign of Scorpio, my Gabrielites of the West, please, powers of water, one card in clarity. I'll take it. For this Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, I'm watching this video, receiving this reading. To alchemize this, they call upon the healing angel of trust. Trust yourself, trust your vision, right? Trust that sometimes the iron is not hot for somebody else when you're like so ready. It happens all the time, right? All right, here's what I'm getting from one of my guides, and I get this a lot. You can tell by looking at people whether they're open for business or not. So you have this brilliant vision that you want to trust. Trust your gut, too, and it says, no, they're not receptive. Now's not the right time, right? Because when it's all up here, what's going on down here? To trust your visionary intuition, which is actually your 8th chakra. Intuition's a whole different story. We'll talk about that another time. Check out Carolyn Mace's work, MYSS. The literal intuition is lower 3 chakras navigating the physical world. Heart, throat, third eye, crown is creative intuition. Visionary intuition is the 8th chakra. It is the satellite point of view. To often see the bigger picture. You know, and if you're talking unity consciousness to people in your circles, as it were, that are all twisted up in the illusion of separation, as many of us are from time to time, if not always, trust that too. Just something that I'm getting, because Scorpios, y'all are good to keep the secrets. I'm Pisces Moon, I know. Let's keep going. What's your element of earth? Let's do this with the Crystal Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. This is the voice of Archangel Ariel for me. My personal archangelic lineage. You'll hear it as in the prayer. Please take a nice deep breath. My beloved Archangel Ariel, Archangel of the North, powers of Earth, the Angel of Nature, the Archangel of Nature, the Archangel of Lyons, Archangel of Lyons. Please, one card in clarity for my beloved Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. I'm watching this video, receiving this reading, alchemizing the visionary archetype from lead to gold with the healing angel of trust. What's the stone they need to work with, my beloved Archangel Ariel? Right? A touchstone, something to focus on, something written in the book, their own experience of the stone. Maybe they go out and get the stone, maybe they don't need to, but what is the stone they need to ground this visionary alchemy with the healing angel of trust, this full moon in Sag to new in Gemini? Oh, lapis lazuli. Fabulous. Lapis can run you. It depends, you know, on all sorts of factors. But I always feel like when I work with these cards, because I was in metaphysical retail for decades. I got my first New Age job in a crystal store in 1988 in Porter Square, Massachusetts, right? Alora, A-L-O-R-A, on Mass Ave. So I know that, like, people think they're buying lapis lazuli and it's sodalite, right? But it is one of those stones that, depending on how expensive it is, you might want to buyer beware. Let me read you what's in the book. I have a lovely piece of lapis right here. A lovely witch brother of mine who crossed over, Sean Poirier from Salem 10 billion years ago, gave me this lapis lazuli scarab, and I rarely wear it, but it's up there with Athena and Heracles, so bless them. So, you know, I love lapis lazuli. It's not a stone I work with a lot because I'm already a visionary, thanks, but I mean, one of the classic third eye stones and one of the stones in the breastplate of the high priest, which is scriptural. So your keywords for lapis lazuli: protection, power, and expansive thinking. Lapis lazuli is a highly spiritual crystal that helps cut through illusions and expands your thinking in ways that serve to empower you. Excuse me while I grab that ring. I'm just going to pop that puppy right on that middle finger. Yeah, why not? Because if you got it, flaunt it. Is it not time to let go of an outmoded way of thinking or a belief system which no longer serves you? Remember, you're already protected. There is nothing to fear. So just be yourself. And isn't that what this past year and blah, blah, blah months have been about? If you've been locked down in isolation or worse, locked down with other people, right? It's like, woo, the codependent patterns just exploding left, right, and center, right? Like, all of that repressed material that when you could go somewhere, right? We've had to deal with that. So really, authenticity is the name of the day. It's our only way through. You'll soon find yourself outside the square. And in doing so, you will begin to unlock your true and unique potential. And seeing outside the square is very much that visionary thing, right? Seeing outside of what everyone else can possibly even conceive. You will soon find yourself to unlock your true and unique potential. Be a leader, not a follower. Dare to be different, WLIR, and success is yours. A bunch of East Coasters just lost their mind around my age. You have the ability to mentally and emotionally rise above all you encounter in life, and in doing so, a clearer picture emerges. Perfect. Now, but can you? Here's the test. And this happens to every visionary, darling. I see it, but can I trust it? Right? Do you have trust issues? Nah, I've never met a Scorpio that didn't have trust issues. Said no one ever. So who doesn't, right? Who doesn't have trust issues that need to be healed? And what a perfect thing for a waning moon shadow read. But, easier said than done. All right, we got one healing system and 2 oracles on the table. Let's do some tarot. We're going to use Daughters of the Moon tarot, which I've been reading since I'm 19 years old, to look at your interior dynamics: heart, throat, third eye, crown chakra, if you want coordinates, your emotional power, your willpower, power of choice, your mental power, and your spiritual power, what you need to be aware of, because that is most likely, if you're dealing with visionary, right? Visionary archetype, and lapis lazuli is a third eye issue. So please take a nice deep breath. And let's see what they show us. Oh, very different vibe on this one. Okay. My goddesses of water and the sign of Scorpio, please, one card in clarity for the Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Watching this video, receiving this reading, what do they need to be aware of? Heart, throat, third eye, crown, inside themselves, yin side themselves, and their divine feminine energy, dealing with this visionary archetype, very third eye, with the healing angel of trust and lapis lazuli, also very third eye. What do they need to kind of focus on to do the shadow work this full moon in Sag to new in Gemini? Killer. Play. 5 of Flames, 5 of Wands, often considered a victory card. In this deck, the 7 of Flames is the victory card, which does make sense numerologically in a way. But here's Play, the Egyptian cat goddess Bastet. Now, I wrote a spell many, many years ago, back in the 90s, called the Bast cast. It's a circle cast, but it's a portable one you can put in a ring and walk around with. So I love her. I mean, I'm feline. I'm the Archangel of Lyons, Mark Angelo Lyons, right? So that feline energy, this is playful, this is fun. So it might be that your creative vision, right, like what you're getting, heart, throat, third eye, crown, that you can trust it. Lapis lazuli is going to help you see this, feel more safe, so that you can play with it, whether you share it with anybody. It's true. Eventually we want to be able to speak what's going on for us. But if there's a trust issue involved here, no one says you have to speak about it. But let's see What? Sorry, I'm like juggling these cards all around the table. Let's see what's on top of that, right? From the outside looking in, we did the yin energy with the daughters of the moon. This will be the yang energy, either from the outside looking in, how you appear, or some aspect of the physical world here, but that would impact you in a root, sacrum, solar plexus. So this is like 8th chakra, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and this would be completing the set. Root, sacrum, solar plexus. Please take a nice deep breath. Yeah, I'm enjoying this, and that's what I meant. It's like the shift when I started shuffling for the Daughters of the Moon. It went from this like to it's definitely more in the body. I'm digging this. So please, my gods of water. Oh, and the sign of Scorpio. Please, one card in clarity for this Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun, watching this video, receiving this reading, alchemizing, doing the shadow work, dealing with the visionary archetype. Again, could be somebody else in your life, if not you. With the healing angel of trust, lapis lazuli, with this fun, exciting, balanced 6 of flames there on the inner bastet. What does this look like on the outer, from the outside looking in, or some aspect of the physical for them? This full moon in Sagittarius, waning to new in Gemini. 2 of Cups. The first time 2 of Cups has come up. Wow, so this is about an attraction. Now, 2 of Cups. It's true love. It's a 2, right? I get if that's a reader's true love card, right? If that's what that means for them, but by no means is 2 of Cups necessarily true love. It's an emotional attraction, right? It's usually mutual. But what's funny in this deck is the 2 of Cups. This is the wedding. Oh, sorry, the meeting of Eros and Psyche. Brilliant Greek myth. Says a lot about relationships, romantic in particular, where Psyche is, of course, tied to a rock, getting ready to be eaten. Is this going to be eaten by a monster? I forget exactly what the judgment was on her, why they were trying to get rid of her off the top of my head. Oh, right. And because she's supposedly, people say she's more beautiful than Aphrodite, the mother of Eros. And so she sends him, she's like, go kill her. A good son, he's a god, what he care? Except he falls in love with her. Pricks himself with his own arrow, and he can't do it. He can't do it. Now, the thing is she's never seen his face. That's a huge part of the myth. And it is about trust. Absolutely, this is about trust. So can you trust, right? This kind of like feeling you have inside of you, because maybe your third eye is just filling up with stuff, right? That feels really, really, really fun and playful. Is it romantic? Is it sexual? I don't know. I'm not going with lapis lazuli on the table. I'm going to say let's not go there yet. So let's go here instead. 2 tarot, 2 oracles, 1 healing system on the table. Here's our second healing system. The Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn, which has been such a lifesaver for me since I got them. God, what was that? December 2019? Really, they've been in my readings ever since. Please take a nice deep breath. And the game has changed with that 2 of Cups. This is now a soul contract read. Give me a sec. I want to go deeper. Further in and higher up. My ascended masters of soul contracts, please leave the card in my hand for the perfect mantra for the Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun, watching this video, receiving this reading. What is the mantra they need to help them do the shadow work of the visionary archetype with the angel of trust? Lapis lazuli, that they're safe. That's key. You're safe. To be authentic, to be true, to be expansive in your thinking, to have this playful, creative intuition, maybe stemming from visionary intuition in the 8th, hitting your heart, third eye, crown, and in your physical world, there's this emotional attraction. Maybe it's to someone, something, if not to someone. Visions can be like that, right? An artistic passion, anything like that. So please, my Ascended Masters, clarify what is the perfect healing mantra for them. This full moon in Sag to new moon in Gemini. Transforming tragedy. It is a Scorpio thing. Loss is my reminder that more room has been made for greater gifts to be received. Now I'm going to say, nothing here indicates that this is a hard time. But I think let me recheck myself there. I feel this is about the fear of loss. Now, there are 4 ego wounds, according to Matt Kahn. He's one of my favorite teachers on planet Earth right now. His YouTube channel, Matt Kahn, All for Love. Check it out. Kubla, Genghis, Madeline, Chaka, and Matt. Those are the 5 Khans, aside from Khan! You with me? Transforming tragedy might be about you doing shadow work from losses past. Matt Kahn says the 4 ego wounds are abuse, neglect, codependence, and loss. Maybe you were abused, maybe you weren't. Not everybody was, believe it or not. Maybe you were neglected, maybe you weren't. Maybe you've been embroiled in codependent patterning since birth. Maybe you haven't. I'd like to meet those people. But no one gets away without the wound of loss. Because who's taught how to deal with loss, right? So when you don't deal with loss, it sits in you. That grief sits in you, and the littlest wonderful thing pops up. And as much as you might want to 100% be in, 1% might be like, and that's what this could be. Because you're seeing it, but this healing angel of trust with transforming tragedy, loss is my reminder that more room has been made for greater gifts to be received. So, in other words, this isn't destined for loss. This is about, well, let me read it from the book, because it really is. It's like the cycles of nature. Loss and gain are linked, right? You can't have loss without gain or gain without loss. Like, people are like, I don't want to lose anything. I'm like, but you're glad your excretory system works. Google it if you don't know what it is. You have one. Otherwise, you are quite literally full of shit. Biologically speaking, transforming tragedy. Loss is my reminder that more room has been made for greater gifts to be received. And this lapis lazuli would help you see that gradually, right? When tragedy is transformed, you see that endings foreshadow the inevitable arrival of exciting new beginnings. Right? Part of the cycle. It may not feel good to lose the things that once defined you, but it is life's way of expanding your identity to invite more passion, joy, and synchronicity into your reality. Now, the thing about synchronicity is that oftentimes it's personal. At least for me it is. 11/11. Make a wish, please. I don't want to talk about 11/11. If you know my history, you know why. But then when I see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3, 3, 3, and it just keeps happening, and some of these numbers mean something to me. Then songs on the radio, particularly, it's really personal when you say somebody's name, and on the radio there's a song that says their name at the same time or something like that. That is that expansive seeing. I mean, if you haven't read Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield, came out in the 90s, you might want to read it. There's a movie, but the book is better always. But also as a visionary thing, if you're flying high enough, even Carl Jung said that synchronicities are happening all the time. But if we're not flying at an altitude or on the frequency to see it, we don't see it. So this can be very, very intense for shadow work, no question, to see that larger picture. As you transform tragedy, any degree of loss merely sets the stage for the arrival of greater gifts. This mantra is ideal for overcoming personal struggles, mourning the death of a loved one, or perhaps a love relationship, and releasing regret. And so look, people don't realize I'll be delicate with this. This is Scorpio I'm talking to. I know you can take it, but let's say you lost a loved one when you were young, right? Who's taught how to grieve and didn't get a chance to do emotional healing work or whatever, right? And so this person walks in, place or thing, it's still a general read, we still have one more card to go, right? And it hits you. And I'm like, I don't know. Healing angel of trust, help me heal my trust. Help me heal my trust. I don't know what, I don't know. Grab a piece of lapis, right? For that expansion, that higher GPS point of view, and that sense of safety that it's okay for me to feel this, right? And what am I feeling? Like a breakthrough, like joy, like fun, like passionate fire with this 2 of Cups. But I gotta transform tragedy. I got too much you might not even want to let this in. Now, it's one thing if you get a direct intuitive hit that you can't trust this person, but that's not what I'm getting here. What I'm getting here is that there is a fear of loss, and therefore let me not even try because they're only going to leave anyway. Now, hearts get broken to me through the 3Ds: divorce, death, or distance. And, divorce is horrible. Death is inevitable. But distance is the worst. And I'm not talking physical distance. I mean, you're in the same location, but you're miles away, right? So any of those things leave wounds if they are not tended to. And I think that's what this shadow work is about for you. And I think transforming tragedy for Scorpio, one of the sign ruled by Pluto, the transformer, the god of death, Hades, who I love. He's so cute. He really is. Don't be afraid of him. He ain't never killed nobody. Well, not humans. Please breathe. He's hot. He's the god of wealth, too. Don't be afraid of Hades. He's the ender of suffering. He's amazing. Breathe. Yeah, I'm not afraid of the death card, honey. I've been on this planet more times than some people own clean underwear. Well, let's just move on. Breathe. Because here's the party turner deck. This is the Whispers of Love Oracle, the voices of the higher selves, right? Fifth dimension and above, 8th chakra and above. This can all of a sudden be about romance. Please take a nice deep breath. It's not already with that 2 of Cups. Nice deep breath. There we go. The higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above. Please leave the card in my hand. What is the whisper of love? Piece of information, inspiration, or insight most needed by the Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun, watching this video, receiving this reading. Alchemizing. The visionary archetype from lead to gold with the healing angel of trust, lapis lazuli. Bastet, play, fun on the inside. 2 of Cups on the outside. Very Scorpio in its way. Transforming tragedy. Loss. Reminding them that more room has been made for greater gifts to be received, please. What is your message? The piece of information, inspiration, insight they need to put this all together. This full moon in Sagittarius, waning to new in Gemini. Love endures. Love endures. Love does not give up or lose faith, which is awfully close to trust. Love is hopeful and withstands every situation. And if you can, look, you don't have to come right out and tell anybody about this just yet. It is a waning moon and Mercury's going retrograde and blah, 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 right? Scorpio, blah, 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 right? Absolutely, you can keep this to yourself if you want, but then what else would you have to endure? Is that enduring, continuing to allow yourself to see this vision, working on your trust issues in shadow work, as the result of some unhealed loss in your life, using lapis lazuli for that sense of protection, so as you feel your emotions, you can be authentic, right? And that's only going to clear up your heart, third eye crown anyway, so that the visionary alchemy becomes stronger. Maybe that's the point of all of this from the divine's point of view, because inside is this fun, and there is something attracting you, so of course, to endure that, particularly when what we're looking at here from that transforming tragedy thing is a thing of faith. And faith is tricky. Carolyn Mace, Marianne Williamson said, and she was talking about Course in Miracles a very, very long time ago, she says, faith is an aspect of consciousness. Everybody has faith. But like currency or an account, how do you spend it? In fear or in faith? Breathe. Let's get them a blessing, please. My collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters, and the higher selves of all involved. May my beloved Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, be blessed with all that they need this full moon in Sagittarius to new in Gemini, that they can really embrace this playfulness, this fun, this 6 of Wands, feline, Bastet, solar cat goddess energy on the inner with the healing angel of trust. And it's okay for them to feel that. They're allowed to feel that because they are transforming tragedy, really learning that loss is their reminder that more room has been made for greater gifts to be received, working with lapis lazuli, so that they have that sense of protection, a touchstone, that larger perspective, that expansive thinking in terms of this 2 of Cups relationship that they must endure for good or ill. They must endure this in order So they don't give up or lose faith, that love is hopeful and withstands every situation, so that their alchemization of this relationship in whatever way, shape, or form, person, place, or thing they are dealing with allows them to really make the healing alchemy, doing the shadow work from selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising their vision to make it more acceptable, into a stronger capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable for others, and a willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain or what anybody else thinks, for their well-being, and who knows, depending on the vision, for the well-being of all of life. May the Scorpios be so blessed so their authenticity, their veracity, their vision can come into this world under grace and in perfect ways for their well-being and for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. Look, I would have loved it if a romance card came out. Why? Because it's not, I don't have any plan. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus time in Scorpio. But again, that's a general read. So, you know, if you feel like commenting, just put in like a one-word thing like romantic, boss, you know, whatever. What is that Two of Cups, right? Just let me know, because I would like to see how many different ways this could play itself out. So if you liked it, like it, want more, subscribe. Feel like commenting, please do. Send it to a friend, right? Check out my book, Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, on Kindle. Links in the description box. And if you want a personal reading, you want to go deeper into this, easy enough. Find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that stuff is in the description box. Find me, we'll book it. I do Zoom readings where you can record it. I love doing Facebook video messenger readings. I don't know, everybody's on Facebook. The quality is better. It just is. Visually, the quality is better, but Zoom, you can record it, so we make it work. Otherwise, wishing you the very, very best and the very, very blessed, as a matter of fact, almost bungled that, of this full moon in Sagittarius, waning to new moon in Gemini. Smile, hail, farewell, everything's retrograde, and blessed, blessed be.